Hey watch lovers, Brad from Brent Miller Jewelers, and I'm excited to share with you today the Tudor Pelagos 39mm on my left and the Tudor Pelagos 42 on my right. I wanted to be able to compare these at the release of the 39 back in, I believe, what is that, October now, and only had one and did not have the 42 in stock at the time. So just got one in today. It is spoken for, so unfortunately, it's not available. The 42 is, however, so if you like the 42, let me know. I'll provide my email here, but wanted to finally get them side by side and give you guys a direct comparison, go over the dimensions, throw them on wrist, and really just kind of go side by side here and ask you which one you prefer. So again, the 39mm, I measured it 39 millimeters across above the crown, so diagonally across 39.1 millimeters. And the 42, I measured it an even 42 millimeters, right on. When you compare the bezel, so just straight across, just the bezel itself, because the bezel does stick out over the case a little bit. The bezel was exactly 40 millimeters on this 39 millimeter model. And it was, let me look at my notes here, 42.3, so a little bit larger. So it sticks out a little bit more on the smaller model than it does on the 42. Now let's see what else. Looking at the case thickness, an even 12 millimeters on the smaller model, and we had 14.4 on the larger 42. Lug to lug, 46.9 millimeters compared to 49.8. So again, everything is smaller, obviously, on this model as we expected. Lug width, 21 millimeters on the 39. We have 22 on the 42. This tapers down to 16. So a 21 millimeter lug width tapering to 16, and then back out to 18 at the buckle. And we do have different style buckles if you're familiar, but we do have the T-fit clasp here with the micro adjustment. I'm going to get rid of my tape. So T-fit adjustment on this one allows you to pull and give you the micro on the fly. On the 42 millimeter model, we had the 22 millimeter lug width, tapering down to 18 at that last link, and then back out to 20. So it's the same taper for the most part, other than the 21 uneven lug width on the smaller. And then if you're familiar with this model, we have the spring-loaded adjustment with the two springs here on the side that once it's in position, allows it to just kind of flex with your hand, or if you are wearing over a wetsuit. So again, different clasps. Solid stainless steel case back on both. We have the MT 5400 in the 39, the no date variation, 70-hour power reserve, and we have the MT 5612 with a date here at 3 o'clock on the 42, both 70 hours of power reserve. I also weighed them. The 39 weighed in at 110.5 grams versus 148.8 on the 42. And lastly, just looking over my notes on specs alone, I forgot to give you, I also measured the crystals. So I gave you the dimensions of the bezel, but just the crystal itself was 29.5 millimeters on the crystal on the 39 versus 32.9 on the crystal for the 42. So the crystal itself, the dial itself, larger than some of the other specs when you're comparing them relatively sized case-to-case size. So 200 meters of water resistance, signed crown, both Tudor shields. Water resistance 500 on the 42 millimeters. So again, no date versus your date. Even just looking at it, you can see the bezel, the grooves here, the coin edge, I'll call it, on the bezel, a little bit spaced out more on the 39 compared to the 42, which is just a little bit tighter. So if I can get them side by side. So again, hopefully those specs, if there's anything else you're looking for, you certainly can email me. But hopefully I went over all of those for you. More importantly, let's get them on wrist and take a loom shot of both of them. Again, I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. I'll make no, I'll just say it now. The 39 certainly fits my wrist better for what I enjoy in my watch wearing experience. I really think the 110 grams, essentially 39/40 millimeter, with the bezel, I think the size on this is just perfect. I haven't mentioned yet, obviously, when I had them side by side too, you have a sun brushed bezel and like a sunray finished dial that, in low light, it's barely noticeable. I know some folks did not care for it when it was initially launched, but really, I'll put them side by side again here with the dials if I haven't done that yet. You can definitely see it. I mean, you have a matte finish on the 42. It's definitely noticeable, but there, hopefully you can see it as I hit and reflect that light. So it definitely is a different look. There, if you look closely, you definitely can see it. May not be for everybody on the 39. Again, let me throw on the 42. Both great examples. I think both, fantastic looking. I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. Certainly, I do prefer the size of the 39, but having them side by side for the first time, I actually think I like the all matte. I think I would have preferred that on the 39 myself. So if I was making my own Pelagos, I'd be doing a hybrid of both of them. So if you have any questions, if there's anything else I can do for you, please email me, brad@brentmillertime. And let me hit that loom. And prior to doing that, I didn't give you bezel action, so let me not forget that. I'm going to do that with the ring light here. Great bezel action. Both very similar feel, sound the same. So again, I have not charged either one of these, so what you see is just from being here for the review. Both look great, and obviously with the 42 just being larger, I think it just, obviously it's a larger case. I think it's more noticeable here on the loom. So if you stuck into the end, I greatly appreciate it, and thanks for viewing, and we'll see you in the next video.